Masechet Hullin Daf Numchima Amud Aleph, 10 lines down. Ba'ai Rav Ashi, Rav Ashi had a question. She'arofot me'in yesh lahen dirusa? No, in dirusa. Non-kosher birds, besides the nes and the gas which we mentioned in the Mishnah, they also have the ability to claw. That would make it a taref or not. Amar Rav Hillel Rav Ashi ki havin b'Rav Kana mashma'arofot me'in yesh lahen dirusa. He says yes. Ba'an dirusa is fadak. We said in a second. Our Mishnah said. We asked the question. Our Mishnah said if you by a net, by a small animal. Seemingly, other animals that don't can't do it. The Gemara says no. A net is like a is special in that the bird that clawed by a net is taref, even if the the bird itself was similar in size. Ve'ena bezutrat minayim. When other animals, they make their birds taref if the other birds are smaller than it. Ve'edam in different version a net or a gas can make a bird taref if the bird is even if its bird is bigger. Ve'enach be'chtivatau. Other animals, other birds can make the animal clawed taref if it's same size. Amarav Kana Mishmei Rav Shimi Barashi, and there said the Shu'al, a fox not ability to claw to make taref. And is that true? Baki Atra Dimi Amar, Ma'aseh V'deras Shu'al Rahel B'mnachat Shebetheni. There's a story in which a fox clawed a sheep in the baths of Betheni. And they came from Hamim and said there is a clawing aspect, and therefore it's taref. Stira, the Gemara says, Amarav Hesafra, he Hatula Bana was a cat. You can never version of Marav Kana Mishmei Rav Shimi Barashi, Yeshu Sal Shu'al, there's a fox clawing. ואין יזת סובה, איקי אתר דין מעשית וששוע ודרש בחסר שבתהיני הבעל of מהעמים כבר אין there is a same thing where it says מרסף lahu כלב hava instead of answering there's a cat instead of the dog. Marav Yosef Natinan and Yusuf HaKelev, we have a halacha that the dog does not claw, so this makes it the second version we don't hold like. Marav Natinan games of Eliyad, we say that the clawing aspect only happens if the animal uses its front claw. Fuki not a leg. Indra only happens through the claw. L'afukishin love not through the teeth. And the b'da'at is only intentional. L'afukishin that love not if it's unintentional does not make tarif. And the mehayim only happens while it's the animal's alive. L'afuk lachmet lo not when the predator is dead. Hamri we said mahashter shlomo that I'm gonna tell oh I'm lachmet amibai. 1 second, you already said that if it does it by accident, it doesn't work without intention. So we have to mention the case where it died. Does not have intention. Where it says latzricha that is a possibility there. Referring to the case where the predator clawed the victim, and then you chop off the paw before it withdrew its claws. Mahurtami would think maybe since it injects poison with its claw at that time, and therefore it's already taref. Once it only injects poison only when it withdraws, and therefore if it was cut before it withdraws, there's no poison. Amar Baba Rav Huna Marav. Arish נכנס לבית השברים ונמצא ציפורן בגבו של אחד מהם. The lion entered among the oxen, and then you found a detached claw from the lion's paw on the floor, or in the back rather, the back of one of the oxen. And Hoshiji, Shema Ari Diraso. You don't have to worry that maybe the lion clawed it. Meaning even the claws there is mutar. My time why? Rabbi had to see most lions claw and minority don't. When it claws, it doesn't fall out. And since we say over here that maybe the claw got out, you say that is a higher chance that it got stuck in a wall, and that's how it got stuck in its back. Adrabah. But the Gemara says 1 second. Most oxen rub themselves against walls, and only minority don't rub themselves against walls. Most animals rub themselves against the wall, and they don't have a claw stuck in its back. The fact that this one does, you should assume the lion did it, not the wall. You could so you could say it both ways. Then for you go according to the Hazakah. Hazakah is that the ox was not clawed, and therefore it's mutar. How about Safek Drusa? You have a Safek that it was clawed. The Rab the Tamen Rab goes according to his own reasoning. The Amar in Hoshin Safek Drusa, you don't have to worry about a Safek of clawing. Marabayet. Lon on the certain implies that the claw in the back, the claw in the back of a Makom Tipon Hoshin, but if it was a scratch, a mark left by the claw, then you are worried. And when you found the claw, only it's mutar if it was moist, because it doesn't usually become detached. But a dry claw can become detached. When you say when a moist one is mutar only with one. Avatartit plant hashim. If it's two or three found, it's mutar. It's asur. We have to assume that it got clawed and not through the wall. But would they come up? But that only applies when the two or three claws are in a pattern and the same positioning of a lion's paw. Okay, Itmar. But Rav Ma'in Hoshin Safek, Rav said before that we are not worried about a Safek of clawing. Well, Shmuel Amar, Hoshin Safek Shmuel said we are worried. Okay. Everybody holds. Everybody agrees. Safek al Safek law. When we're not sure whether or not the predator has entered, Ima law Ali assume it doesn't. Safek kalba Safek shurna, if you're not sure if it was clawed, but you're not sure if it was a dog or cat, Ima kalba, you can say it's dog. Al shatik be'etu minay, if a lion entered and it was quiet and then it just sat there, and if you just see a lion sitting there, Ima shlama, you can assume it was peace and it did not claw. Katara shedda haminayo nahmed chad, lion tore the head of one of them. You can assume that uh, it calmed down after that and it did not claw any others. You come inhu come karkaran, the lion is roaring and they're bellowing back at him. Ba'ute come ba'ute. They're both scared of each other. They're both scared of each other. Keep looking, where's the machlokes? The iu kashatik, the inhu come karkan. The lion's quiet and they're the ones who are bellowing. More savar maase kavidu. Shmuel holds that they're in pain because he hurt them. That's why they're yosum netaref. But more savar mahad be'utahu the kavdan, and the other Rav holds that they're doing that because they're just scared of it. Amar Mimar. Hilchot is question Safek, so you're worried about a Safek. Amar le Rav Mimar, hi, did Rav mai? What about Rav? Amar le Shmuel, I didn't heard of it. Klumar Lusvil, which means he didn't hold of it. Diba de ma hadar be Rav legabe Shmuel. Some people say that Rav actually retracted to hold like Shmuel. The Osha kefad Safek the Rusot after the committed Rav because of the basket full of birds that were clawed that came in front of Rav. Shadrinu the committed Shmuel. He sent to Shmuel. Hanakin Shadrinu ben Ara. He strangled them and threw them to the river so that people don't accidentally eat it, thinking that they're kosher. If you want to say that he didn't retract, Lisharino, he sure didn't retire. So the fact that he disposed of them must be he agreed to Shmuel now. He retracted the Shmuel. So if that's the case, then if he retracted, then he should just say they're Asur. Why drown them? And the Atva the Shmuel must be it was the place of it was the land of Shmuel. It was Shmuel's location, Shmuel's city, and that's why he held like him. He was why he had to kill it first. Just let him throw him alive into the river. Because worried about maybe they would have escaped. Why strangle them? Let them see if they stay alive for 12 months, and then if they'll prove they're not taref. Someone might eat them. Himself to a goy. Israel, or they might sell them to a Jew. The Hakir was shidin bashba. Why throw them in rivers? Strangle them and throw them into the garbage. But then mech shidin klavim. Same. So same thing. You also could throw them to the dogs. He wanted to publicize their sword, so he threw them into the river. Easiest way to do it. How about Abza the Hava Bera, Ashi, the duck on Rav Ashi's headland? Al Bene Kanya Fak Ata Kim Haspes Ko Edema. He entered the reeds and he came with his neck blood dripping. Rav Ashi, Lo Amrin say Kabas, affection not Imran Kaba. Then we say if it's Safek, you assume it's the dog and the mutar clawing. Hachanami Safek Kanya Safek Shuna Imran Kanya Mahayas over here. It's Safek whether it was cut by a cat or by a reed. You can assume maybe a reed injured him. Amr ben Rahia, Dirusesh Amr, when we said that it was Claude, Tzricha b'dika keneged b'nei ma'ayim. You still have to do examination on the insides, make sure that it wasn't poisoned. Amar Abba said, Had the b'nei Rabbi Hiya kvar pesher Shmuel. This that what the son of Rabbi Hiya was teaching was already done by Shmuel. Amar Shmuel Mishum Rabbi Hanan ben Dignos. Dirusesh Amr tzricha b'dika keneged b'nei ma'ayim. An animal that was clawed still needs to be checked inside. By ilfa, yesh Jerusalem zanim, other Jerusalem. Is there a animal that's clawed by the pipes? Is it possible to be clawed there or not? Meaning, if it's clawed by the pipes, is that taref or not? Mar bizarre. How did I ilfa kibar pisher about that question? We answered elsewhere. When it gets clawed, you have to check everywhere, including by the pipes. By ilfa, if the pipes became detached, what part of detachment do you have to assume that the tarif? We already answered this through this rabbi. If they are majority detached, the pipes are majority detached, it is taref. By Rabami, hemsema, what if it's just decaying? The skin of the animal is decaying where it got clawed. What's halacha? Mar b'zira. Had by Rabami, kivar peshe Rav Yehuda. This answer was answered. This question was answered by somebody else. Tavar Edem Rav. B'yirzad ashi adim basar kineged benayim. If it was clawed, it's not taref unless the flesh around it turned red. It says basar ve'erina toki il bo'eno. If it decayed, we view it as if it's not there and it's mutar. What do you mean indicate? If it's tissue that if the doctor would scrape it away to leave healthy flesh, that's considered decayed. That would not be a problem. Remember Ravashi, when we were similar of Kana, they brought us the lung. They would lay it down properly. Only if we laid it down, it would stay good. However, if we lifted it up, it would fall apart. Make it taref because decayed flesh is non-existent. Right? It is considered missing. Sorry, decayed means it's considered missing entirely. Because if the animal was pierced by a thorn, it's not taref unless it pierced all the way inside to the cavity of the body. But clothed animals taref, unless it's not taref until from when the flesh becomes around it becomes red. He learns as follows: in the case of his claw, it's taref from where the surrounding of it becomes red. And it's if it's clogged by the pipes, only taref unless the pipes themselves become red. Marapapi, Veshet nikuvato b'mashu so b'mashu. If the esophagus is taref, if it's punctured any size, and therefore a clawed red spot would be taref any size. Kaned nikuvato b'kisar drusaka kama. We say the trachea is taref through a puncture only if the puncture is the size of an isar, and therefore, how about a claw mark? What would be enough? How large would that red spot have to be? He asked and he answered it. Either size, the red spot would be even a minor amount. Might have a Y. Because the poison of the animal will spread and continue reaching more. And therefore, once it's a little bit, it'll eventually reach the coin size that we don't like.